So we want to graph the ellipse given by each equation. Let's start with this first one here. Notice that our A value is bigger than our B value. A would be 6, B would be 3. Well, sorry, A is always going to be bigger than our B value. What I really should have said is that notice that the A value is underneath the term with X, meaning that the A value, which makes the major axis, is affecting the X values. So this is going to have a horizontal major axis. So we have our center point. Our center point would have to be 3, -1. We can see that from the H and the K. And we know that A being 6 means we're going to go 6 units, 2, 3, 4, 5, to the right, and 6 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 units to the left of our center point. I'll make our center point nice and big so we don't get confused there. Now, we also know B is affecting the Y values because it's underneath the term with Y. So we're going to add 3 and subtract 3 from our center point. We can see we have our ellipse. Now I'm no artist, but I've plotted the co-vertices and the vertices using my center point, using the A and B values, and that's really all there was to that. Now, just so we're feeling comfortable, let's list out about everything we possibly can. We have our center point. I'll abbreviate. Our center point was 3, -1. We can find, I'll actually write that out so we don't get it confused with the C value. We've got our foci, which we will find in a second. We can find our major axis. We can find our minor axis. We can find our vertices. And we can find our co-vertices. I don't think I left out anything. Hopefully I didn't. Anyways, to find the foci, we need to find the C value. And we know that C squared is equal to A squared minus B squared. Don't get that too confused with the Pythagorean theorem. And so that means C squared is going to be equal to 36 minus 9, and so C squared is equal to 36 minus 9 gives us 27, and so C is equal to 3√3. Now, we also know, before you get too caught up in that, C is going to be our principal root. Okay, our other value, way to write C is root A squared minus B squared, knowing that it is the principal root, that we're only being asked to find the positive version. So that is positive 3√3, but it doesn't matter. We're going to add it and subtract it to the X value here. So that means our foci are 3 plus and minus 3√3, -1. Add it and subtract it, so that means it is 3 add 3√3, which 3√3 comes out to be a little over 5, so that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit more than 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit more than 5 over here. Something like that. Our foci are pretty far away from our center. Our major axis, we can see it would be y equals -1. Our minor axis would be x equals 3. We have vertices. Vertices are endpoints of the major axis, so our vertices are -3, -1, and 9, -1. And our co-vertices are at 3, 2. and 3, negative 4. How we feel about that one? I think we're feeling good. Okay, so we have another one to look at. I'll try to keep all these so I don't have to write it again. But notice the second one here. All right, the second one is not in our standard form. We're going to have to complete the square again to put this in standard form. I say again because we had to do this when we looked at parabolas. But we do want to change it so it generally looks like it's in kind of like a vertex form type of thing. So I'm going to sort this so that all the x's are together, all the y's are together, and I'm going to put the constant over on the other side. 4x squared minus 24x plus y squared plus 4y equals a negative 24. I'm going to group the x's, I'm going to group the y's, and I do need to pull out that 4 from my x's because I don't have a coefficient. I need a coefficient of 1. So that leaves me with x squared minus 6x. I'm going to leave some space in there. Leave some space in there too. So now we take the coefficient in front of our x, we cut it in half, we square it to get a positive 9. We have to multiply it times the value on the outside and subtract it. So 9 times 4 is 36. That means I'm going to be subtracting 36 from all of this. Over here I've got 4, cut it in half, square it, we get a positive 4, multiply it times anything on the outside, which is just 1. So we are subtracting a 4. So I have negative 36 minus 4, and that's what's all being kind of subtracted from the outside here. So we'll combine that. That's really a negative 40. And I can go ahead and add that to the other side if that would make it look better for you. And so when we add 40 to both sides, it's all gone over here. And now we're going to have 16 on the other side. So we have 4. This is x minus 3 squared. This is y plus 2 squared equals 16. Take a second. Don't get too confused in what I did. Okay, so now we need to continue to make it look like this. We want to look like our standard form. I need it to equal 1. Divide both sides by 16. That means I'm dividing everything by 16. Everything by 16. This gives me x minus 3 squared over 4 plus y plus 2 squared over 16 equals 1. Notice our a value, which is always bigger than our b value, is underneath the term of y. So that means our major axis is vertical because it's affecting the y's. Our center point must be 3, negative 2. So we can go ahead and plot that. 3, negative 2 is right there. We know the a value, which is 4, is affecting the y coordinate. So I know I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and go down 1, 2, 3, 4 from my center point. The smaller denominator is always referring to our b value, which must be 2. So that means I'm going to go to the right and to the left 2 from my center point. This creates my ellipse. A little bit better tracing than my last one. So we've got our ellipse. We can start to fill in some more of these things. A lot of this stuff is pretty simple. We see that our vertices would be 3, 2, 3, 2, and 3, negative 6. Co-vertices at 1, negative 2, and 5, negative 2. Our major axis is x equals 3. Our minor axis is y equals -2. The foci, of course, to get the foci, we need our c value, and c is equal to, this in red, c is equal to the square root of a squared minus b squared. So c is equal to 2√3. Simplify that, think about it. Yep, that's correct. So that means our foci, notice our foci would have to be along our major axis. The x value stays the same, but it's going to be -2 plus or minus that 2√3. Yeah. If we want to plot those foci, 2√3 is a little bit, about 3.5 if I had to. So that means I'm going up 3.5. That's bad. Up 3.5-ish. Down 3.5-ish. Our foci roughly right there.